In the previous episode, Owen let Chang in on the truth. It wasn't the Russians who were behind the kidnapping, it was the Yakuza. He told him they had to get out of Korea right away and knew someone with a boat to help them rescue his wife. Fast forward to the final episode, and they're already on the boat heading toward Russia when the Coast Guards show up. The Coast Guards grill Zhang and Eugene about their business in Russia. Eugene plays it off, saying they're just out fishing, while Zhang awkwardly tries to back up the story about being part of a small Korean fishing collective. Soon after, the rest of the CIA team emerges from the water in full dive gear. Meanwhile, back at the CIA, Director West and Walter are preparing for the worst. Emilia drafts a document distancing the agency from the whole operation, claiming Owen and Lester have gone rogue. Then she burns the paper, nothing to tie back to the CIA. Over at NIS headquarters, Grace Cho faces heat from her boss, who's furious about the covert operation happening under their noses. He warns her that if she doesn't clean up the mess fast, she'll be the one locked up next. Nishka makes it to the Yakuza compound, playing the role of a Russian mafia enforcer sent by the Obshak. She strong arms Kenta, demanding a cut of his operation, including control over the kidnapped aid workers. Kenta tries to explain that Nenhi wasn't taken for ransom. She overheard something about a drug shipment and needed to be silenced. Nishka pushes to see Nenhi and finds her beaten but alive in a grim cell. Nishka reports back. Nenhi is in bad shape and the compound is heavily fortified. Dawn lays out the plan, lure the Yakuza onto the water with a fake ransom negotiation, sneak onto their boat, and rescue Nenhi. Nishka agrees to keep an eye on things as long as her payment is real. Eugene has a quiet moment with Owen, sensing his fear. She tells him it's okay to be scared and that grief is just unspent love for those we've lost. They share a kiss, but Owen wakes up later, plagued by self doubt. What if he fails? What if this whole mission is just another selfish move that hurts everyone? Eugene reassures him it's better to fight for love than abandon it. Walter gives Amelia a heads up. The mission is going down soon, even though technically it isn't supposed to exist. She'll be able to catch the live feed from a maintenance closed room if she wants. Amelia plays it cool, pretending she isn't interested. But curiosity gets the best of her, so she makes her way down there anyway. Meanwhile, over in Russia, Nenhi is being brought to Kenta's boat where Nishka and Kenta are waiting. Owen keeps his cool with Kenta, but when it's time to show the money, they demand to see Nenhi first. She's brought out, and Owen triggers Dawn's team, but then the Coast Guards show up, forcing Dawn to abort the mission. Eugene freaks out, but Lester makes the hard call. We can't get into a firefight with the Russians watching. He locks her in the bathroom to keep things from escalating further. Back on the boat, Kenta opens the briefcase and finds nothing. Chaos breaks loose. Jank gets shot, Owen dives overboard while bullets fly, miraculously avoiding any hits. Watching from the video feed, Amelia breaks down, assuming Owen is dead. Nishka scolds Kenta, saying he's been played and that her bosses won't be happy. But Owen isn't dead, he resurfaces, still kicking. Remembering Eugene's words about fighting for love, he pushes forward. Walter checks in with Amelia, asking how bad things are. Walter insists it does. She has to start burying the mission failures under red tape and pin everything on Owen. Furious but resigned, Amelia agrees, realizing the personal cost of the job she's taken on. Meanwhile, Owen makes it to shore, breaks into a boathouse, and collapses exhausted. Elsewhere, Violet and Grace have a tense meeting. Violet smugly reminds Grace that the CIA is taking Janice Ferber back, but Grace has wild cards in the field, a rogue agent and a privileged recruit. Violet proposes a deal, pin everything on Owen. Back in the boathouse, Owen wakes up to find two armed Russians. He fights them off and appears to take them both down. Owen calls in, casually announcing, "So I'm alive." Lester dryly replies, "Honestly, dead would have been easier." Eugene, still locked up, cheers to hear Owen's voice. Owen makes it clear he isn't leaving without saving Jang and Nenhi. Don thinks he's insane, reminding him he's just a lawyer with no operational training. But Owen stands his ground. He refuses to abandon them, saying he'd rather die trying than become as emotionally numb as the rest of them. Lester, despite himself, offers to send Nishka to help. At the marina, Jang and his wife are dragged off, both bruised and beaten. Nishka hands the Coast Guard a payoff to look the other way during the handoff. The FSB official isn't messing around, reminding Nishka she promised them the American spy. She tries to buy more time, claiming she can still deliver, but they aren't having it. They give her a hard 4-hour deadline before Moscow's team touches down to take the prisoners, and warns there will be consequences if she fails. Meanwhile, Lester contacts Nishka, telling her to grab Owen and bring him in. Nishka makes it clear the situation is more dangerous now with the FSB involved and demands a pay bump. Lester, never one to play nice, reluctantly agrees, threatening her with a pretty wild visual if she doesn't come through. Owen is still hiding out in the houseboat when Nishka shows up. She tells him Lester wants him back, but Owen is dead set on rescuing Chang and his wife first. Nishka thinks it's a death wish, but agrees, after pointing out she'll probably kill him if things go south anyway. As they leave the houseboat, Nishka double crosses Owen, pulling a gun and forcing him into the car trunk. She admits she struck a deal with the FSB to trade him for cash and a promotion. Owen calls her out, saying she won't actually shoot him, and manages to grab his own gun. A chaotic shootout follows, with Owen knocking Nishka out cold and stuffing her into the trunk instead. Owen calls Lester, giving him the rundown. Nishka sold them out, and the FSB is on its way. He manages to find a bike and rides off toward the airfield. Lester gets word from West that the Korean deadman switch has been disabled, eliminating the threat of exposure. West coldly orders Zhang's assassination to prevent the Russians from getting intel, and Dawn eagerly volunteers on the condition that she be rewarded with a Moscow station post and a clean slate for her past sins. Owen makes it to the airfield, sneaking toward the scene as Dawn preps to take out Zhang. Meanwhile, Eugene escapes her bathroom imprisonment, knocks out Dodge and Lester, and ties them up. Zhang, bleeding and defeated, apologizes to Nenhi, fearing they'll never see each other again once the Russians separate them. But Nenhi stays hopeful, thinking maybe someone will come for them, and right on cue, Owen shows up, taking down a guard and helping them escape. Dawn is seconds away from pulling the trigger when Nishka ambushes her, saying the prisoners are hers. The two women fight brutally, but Nishka comes out on top, killing Dawn. Owen, Nenhi, and Chang board the car and make a break for it, but when Nishka spots them, she starts shooting, drawing the attention of other guards. Bullets rain down as they dive into the sea, swimming for their lives. Nishka, desperate, tells the FSB to call the Coast Guard, but they're done with her, knocking her out for failing. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Eugene shows up with her father's boat. Owen, Cheng, and Nenhi climb aboard, but Russian Coast Guards are hot on their heels, shooting wildly. Out of nowhere, a U.S. Navy submarine surfaces, scaring off the Russians. Walter, it seems, pulled some strings after storming out on West's assassination orders. Safe aboard the Navy vessel, Owen thanks them for the rescue. Zhang, humbled and grateful, acknowledges that thank you doesn't feel like enough. Owen shrugs, saying he'll take it. Then comes the big question, what now? Owen lays it out straight. They'll fake Zhang and then his deaths in Russia. In return, the agency will hook them up with fresh identities and a solid bank account back in the US. The catch? Zhang will have to spill all the secrets he knows. At first, Zhang looks hesitant, but it doesn't take long for the reality to sink in. Going back to Korea means treason, charges, and jail time. Compared to that mess, this deal is a no-brainer. Jen sees the writing on the wall and agrees, shaking hands with Owen. And just like that, the season wraps with the deal struck, lives changed, and plenty of loose ends left dangling.